When we left off with the install of the 1967 tail light assembly on our 1968 Beetle, I was awaiting some information on the paint that I had ordered for the project. I also remembered that I needed to paint the housing for the license plate light. It's been primed for about 4 years now. The paint on our Beetle is far from perfect. The rear fenders were replaced at one time and they were painted diamond blue instead of zenith blue. She's got her fair share of scratches and imperfections, but that's what makes her a survivor. I have no desire to have her resprayed anytime soon. So I figure for now, I'll find the closest, off-shelf can of spray paint to use on the tail light housings and the license plate light housing. The wife and I were shopping at Lowe's and came across a can of Rust-Oleum Peaceful Blue. It's a closer match to the diamond blue, but for now, it'll work just fine. One day when I decide not to drive her as much as we currently do, she'll get a proper paint job. We'll start by removing the wiring for the license plate light. I won't go into great detail, but I'll throw in a few pictures of the process. I've been in here before, so this quick connect will come in handy. I'll use a 5/16 socket to remove the 3 nuts that hold the housing in place, as well as the housing for the tail lights. And now, I'll remove the Phillips head screws that secure the light lens. This should allow you to remove the bulb assembly. You can refer to my previous video concerning the removal of the tail light housing. With everything removed, I'll wet sand all 3 pieces with some 800 grit sandpaper. Luckily, everything was pretty easy to wet sand and the process only took a few minutes for each piece. When everything was wet sanded, I sat it out in the sun to dry for a bit. Last thing to do before painting is to wipe everything down with some paint prep. This will remove any lingering dirt or oil. Again, I'm no expert at this. This is not a how-to video, it's more of a "this is how I do it" video. I'll give each piece a total of 2 coats, letting the paint cure for 20 minutes or so in between coats. After the paint has cured for a couple of days, I'll give it 2 more coats of Duplicolor clear coat. After a couple more days of curing, it'll be time for a light buffing. If you aren't subscribed to our channel yet, please take a moment to do so. After letting the paint cure for 2 days, I decided that I was going to wait on giving any of the housings a buff and polish. Surprisingly, the paint is a pretty good match. It does contrast a bit with the rear fenders, which were painted diamond blue instead of zenith blue. Keep in mind, this is only a temporary solution. I have the correct paint on order, it's just going to take a while to get here. But for now, I can live with the slight mismatch of color. It still looks 100% better than the white tail light housings and primed license plate housing. As I mentioned earlier, maybe someday we'll get her a proper respray and make her look all shiny and new again. Considering the paint is 55 years old, except for the rear fenders, I think she has great character and she proudly displays her bumps and bruises. Anyhow, I hope that you enjoyed this short follow-up video of the 67 tail light installation. I may do one more once my zenith blue spray paint arrives and I respray the housings one more time. If you found this video useful, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up. It's the only way to ensure future videos. Also, please consider subscribing to our channel, we'd greatly appreciate it.